bullying program here at WMS. We will be interviewing students in 7th grade and their thoughts about bullying. We have heard that there has been a lot of bullying over the years and a lot of people have been harming themselves because they have been bullied multiple times. We will also be interviewing advisors and administrators about the program and how students can get involved. And now over to Olivia Roberts at WMS.
Thanks, Ange. I'm here at WMS. The bullying program was put into the school to prevent students from becoming bullied. This is just 40 minutes of teaching students what to do in a situation and teaching them the meaning of bullying and respect. They call this Braves Period. They do Braves Period once a month, every year. Hi guys, it's Olivia. I'm here with Ms. Spillman, our student assistant counselor. And how are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. So I have a few questions about our bullying program for you.
Okay.
Alright, the first question is, how well do you think our bullying program is working?
Actually, I think our bullying program is working very well. Just this year, we have 2 really good kickoffs, one for the 5th grade, one for the rest of the middle school, that are coming up that are going to be really fun. I don't want to give too much away, but I think the program itself is actually working pretty well.
Okay. And have you seen the amount of bullying in our school reduce?
It's funny that you asked that question because we were just talking about this. Last year, at this time, we had many more reported incidences, and at this point of the year, we are less than half of that. And last year, our overall number from September to June was less than the year before, so we have seen improvement.
And do you think the bullying program can use any more work?
Well, I think everything could always use something extra. I think maybe more students involved would be helpful.
Okay. And if you could give one piece of advice to the students in our school about being bullied or seeing bullying, what would it be?
I guess I would say to make sure that you tell someone. If you're not comfortable telling an adult, to tell a friend or to tell maybe somebody at home who could then call the school. But if you don't tell anybody, then nobody will be able to help you. So just to let somebody know that it's happening.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hi, Ms. Samantha. How are you today?
Great. How are you?
Okay.
Good.
We have a couple questions for you about the bullying program. Is that okay?
That's perfect.
Okay. First, how well do you think our bullying program is working so far?
Well, I definitely think it's working. I think that one of the things that's important is for communication to get out there. So I think now that the parents understand that we have the program and they understand, how the reporting works, it's helping us to solve some problems before they escalate into big problems. I think that the students enjoy the program. Tomorrow we're having our kickoff for 5th and 6th grade, so I know that that's going to be a big day, and then we're doing the same thing on Friday with 7th and 8th grade. So I think that, once the students also all understand the expectations, it'll go very well. Thank you.
How have you seen the amount of bullying reduce since the program?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
Do you think the bullying program could use any more work?
I think there's always room for improvement. I think last year we made a mistake by not having a big kickoff, and I think that without having that, some of the new students that were new to the Williamstown Middle School didn't quite understand the expectations. So this year we're going to reinstate the kickoff for everyone, and I think that's one thing that we learned that we needed more work with, was not to assume. So we continue to look at things, reflect, and try to make it better.
If you could add or change anything with the program, what would it be and why?
That's a good question. I think, and I don't know how I would actually do this, but I think that one of the things that I would like to change is a way to make students report things on their own, so that we could convince them that it's safe to do so. I think a lot of times students are afraid to report, and we'd like to try to make them understand that we do things confidentially and we do try to help them. So that's something I'd like to improve.
Okay. And last, if you could give one piece of advice to the students in our school about being bullied or seeing bullying, what would it be?
To report it. To definitely report it, because once we know about it, we can fix it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
It's only when we don't know that we can't fix it. So
Okay.
you're
Thank
welcome.
you so much.
All right, thank you.
Michael Costanzo, a 7th grader at WMS, and we're going to interview him with some questions today. Okay, so what do you think about our bullying program?
I think it helps kids not to get bullied.
Do you think the program has helped?
Yes, because there has been less bullying incidents in our school.
Okay, have you ever been bullied personally?
No.
No? No? Okay. How do you think we can stop bullying?
Well, tell the bullies that it really affects kids and they could possibly suicide.
And there you have it. Hi, I'm here with Nick Wallace today, and we're going to ask him some questions about bullying. So Nick, have you ever been bullied?
In a way,
And how would that way be?
people called me anger management on my soccer team.
That's not very nice. Have you ever seen anybody be bullied before?
No,
No? What do you think about bullying?
I think it's horrible and that it should be put to a stop.
How do you think we can stop bullying?
Make the bullying program even bigger than it is now.
Here we are in the ginormous hallway of the 5th graders. Lots of lockers, lots of 5th graders, lots of chaos. There are more than 500 5th graders just on this side of the building. And there are more than 2,000 students in the whole school. That's a lot. Well, 5th graders, you might be scared. Don't be. We have you. We are going to help you. Your favorite teachers are here to help.
I've been teaching 5th grade ever since we came from the elementary schools. Before that, I was at Radix.
What class do you teach?
I teach kids English language arts.
Cool. What advice do you have for 5th grade homework completion?
Well, my first piece of advice would be to always do your homework. Even if you have to try, even if it's hard, you should attempt it.
What organization advice do you have for the 5th graders?
Well, all 5th graders should color code their subjects because it does make it easier to grab things out of their locker.
Very true. What advice do you have for the 5th graders in general?
In general, try to make new friends and join a club.
What do you think the hardest transition from 5th to 4th graders? I mean 4th to 5th graders?
I would think probably getting used to lockers is the toughest thing that our new 5th graders have to do.
Miss Stewart.
Thank you. How many years have you been teaching here, Miss Stewart?
This is my 4th year here at WMS.
Very cool. What class are you teaching?
5th grade math.
What advice do you have for 5th graders this year in homework completion?
Completing homework. Use your agenda. Definitely check it every day when you go to your locker. And just make sure you stay organized. It'll take a little bit of time, but you'll get the hang of it.
Well, that leads me to my next question. What organization advice do you have for the 5th graders?
Organization. In 5th grade, everything is color coded. So definitely set up your locker, color coded. And I give all my homeroom students a list so you can check off and see what you need for class. And it just takes practice and you'll get the hang of it. It'll pay off in the end if you're organized.
What advice do you have for 5th graders altogether in general?
All together, well, I don't think anyone's too nervous anymore. It takes a little bit of time, but probably in a couple months you'll be a pro. If you need help, ask. And just join a lot of clubs and you'll meet a lot of new friends and enjoy your time here.
And last question, what do you think is the hardest transition from 4th to 5th grade?
The hardest is having more teachers. My name is Mrs. Morris.
Well, thank you. How many years have you been teaching here, Ms. Morris?
I've been teaching here about 7 years.
Interesting. What class do you teach?
I teach the TAG class for social studies and science.
What advice do you have for 5th grade homework completion?
To do your homework, use the OnCourse website to double check if you have homework or not.
What organization advice do you have for the 5th graders?
Use your accordion. Use an accordion folder. It'll help you stay organized as you have homework for different classes.
What advice do you have for 5th graders in general?
Don't be nervous. No one's going to stuff you in a locker. Enjoy your time here at the middle school.
And what do you think is the hardest transition from 4th to 5th grade?
Probably the fact that you feel like you know no one, but in reality, by the end of the year, you'll have made lots of friends.
Thank you for your answers and your time. Have a nice day.
You're welcome.
How many years have you been teaching here, Miss Nira?
A really long time.
And how long?
I have been teaching at Williamstown Middle School for 6 years, but I was teaching at Holly Glen prior to that as a 5th grade teacher there as well.
What do you teach?
This year and a couple years before this, I was teaching 5th grade English language arts.
What advice do you have for the 5th graders homework-wise?
Homework-wise, I think the most important thing is to remember to write down your assignments in your agenda book and do a checklist in your head before you go home, making sure having your agenda book out and checking as you put things into your book bag to make sure you have everything you need.
Interesting. What advice do you have for organization?
For 5th graders or all students in general?
5th graders.
5th graders, I believe that 5th graders need to make it as simple as possible. If your teacher would like you to have a blue binder because for math, blue is the color, you can easily go into your locker and pull out everything that's blue and know that you're pretty prepared for the class that you need to go into.
That's very true. Any advice in general for 5th graders?
Any advice in general? I think that they should get involved. I think they should find a club or an activity that they're interested in and get involved. I think the more involved you are in the school, the better student you become, because you become invested in Williamstown Middle School and you want to come to school every day and you want to get to your activities and you're going to do well to stay in those activities.
Yes. And the last question. What do you think is the hardest transition from 4th grade up to 5th grade?
I just think it's the overwhelming size of the school, and they're used to coming from a school of 500 or so children from kindergarten to 4th grade, and when they come here, the entire 5th grade is over 500 students. So for them, I just think it's the vastness of the building, how big it is.
Yeah.
And another thing that they seem to be a little nervous or apprehensive of was the fact that they didn't call their buses to be dismissed, that they all left at the same time and now they're responsible for finding their buses.
That is chaos. How many years have you been teaching at WMS, Ms. Thomas?
I've been here for 6 years.
What subject do you teach?
I teach science and social studies.
What advice do you have for 5th graders doing homework?
Do your homework on time, because if it's late, you lose a lot of points.
And what advice do you have for organization for 5th graders?
Stay organized from the beginning, so that way you're not trying to catch up.
And what advice do you have for the 5th graders in general?
Join a lot of clubs, make sure you do your homework, and study for your tests. But joining clubs is really important.
And what do you think is the hardest transition from 4th to 5th grade?
Switching classes, having different teachers, and needing to stay organized on your own for the most part.
How many years have you been teaching / being a principal here?
Well, here, let's see, here I've been teaching / being a principal for 15 years.
Well, what do you do as a principal?
Wow, what don't I do? Well, I think I pretty much will say that I oversee the entire building. Have to make sure that all the needs of the teachers are addressed, make sure that the parents, all their questions are handled, organize events, make sure that the teachers have materials and supplies they need to teach everything to the students, and just basically make sure the school is operating smoothly.
You got a lot on your hands. And what advice do you have for the 5th graders altogether in general?
I think the The biggest piece of advice I have is for them to get involved in school and to enjoy school. You know, it may seem like forever before 8th grade is going to come, but really it's going to come in the blink of an eye. And as I mentioned to the 5th graders at orientation, this is the first time they've come together as a graduating class. So for the first time, the 5th graders have an opportunity to meet the other students that they'll be graduating from high school with. So I think it's important for them to get involved in activities where they can make friends, where they can get to know each other, and hopefully make friends that have the same interests as they do.
Yep. And what do you think is the hardest transition from 4th to 5th grade?
I think just the size of the building, because it's so much bigger here, and getting to know all the people and getting to find your way around the building is probably the hardest thing, but it doesn't seem to take very long before they feel very comfortable, so they'll be fine.
Well, thank you for your time, thank you for your answers, and have
You're
a nice
very
day.
welcome, you too. Thank you for interviewing me.
Hi, my name's Dominique,
My name's Tori.
and we will be going behind the scenes of Williamstown Middle School.
We will be interviewing teachers to see what they do to prepare for the next day.
And also, like, how long they've been working and what advice they have to their students.
Now let's go talk to Mr. Blair.
Ask you a few questions.
All right, let's do it.
How long have you been working at Williamstown Middle School?
This is my 7th year here at the middle school. So it's gone by really fast, but I think time flies when you're having fun.
Also, how long do you stay after school hours?
Oh, good question. It depends on the day, because Wednesday's golf day, so I usually try to get out of here pretty quick on Wednesday. I used to stay here till about 4 o'clock most days to, get some grading done and do some prep work for lessons coming up. But now my daughter's in school, so I have to go pick her up at Open Hole at 3:30. So usually I'm out of here about 3:30.
Have you ever taught any other grades or subjects?
I sure have. This is my 7th year here, I said, but I've been teaching only for 16 years. So I also worked in a high school, 2 other high schools actually, that taught geography and American history to 10th graders and freshmen in high school.
Okay. So lastly, like, what advice do you have to your students?
Oh, that's easy. Well, I guess it's easy, but the best advice I can give to students is always do your best. If you work hard and you give something your best effort, usually the result you're going to get is pretty positive. And I also like to tell students 2 other things, and one is when you do something for school, make sure that when you're done with it, it's something that you're going to be proud of, and something that will make you proud and make you feel good about what you've done. And then lastly, I think it's really important for kids to enjoy themselves while they're here at school. We have a lot to offer here at the school. We have a lot of opportunities to meet other people and make new friendships and develop relationships with people, so just enjoy it while you have the chance.
Okay. Thanks for talking to us, Mr.
Sure,
Blair.
my pleasure.
Well, let's go see what Miss Veza's up to. Hi, Miss Veza.
Hi.
We would like to ask you a couple of questions.
Okay.
How long have you been working at Williamstown Middle School?
I worked here for 5 years, a couple years ago, and I spent the past 2 years working in Whitehall, and now this is my first year back.
Oh, okay. How long do you stay after school?
I stay for school for about a half hour. If kids need help, I'll stay after another half hour to help anyone, but usually by the time I get all my papers marked and stuff like that, here for a little while.
Have you taught any other grades or subjects?
I taught 6th grade math for 2 years, 5th grade math for 3 years, and then 3rd grade for 2.
And lastly, what advice do you have for your students?
Just to stay organized and try hard, and they do that, they can do anything.
Okay. Thanks for talking to us, Miss Veza.
You're welcome, thank you.
Hey, Miss Bucks, how you doing?
Fine, thanks. How are you?
Good, thank you. What do you expect from your team this year?
I expect greatness. Just kidding. I expect everyone to achieve personal bests, have fun, and get in shape.
What do you think is the biggest key to remember when you're running?
Biggest key to remember? Breathe, stay hydrated, and to achieve your personal best.
Alright. What do you expect your team, or do you expect your team to make it far?
Of course, they're distance runners.
That's a good point. And do you have any personal experience in track?
Personal experience, not in track particularly, but I've pretty much played every sport under the sun, so I'm an experienced runner.
All right, thank you for your time. Have an amazing year.
Thank you.
Hello there, Mara. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good.
All right. So, what made you sign up for cross country?
I need endurance.
For what?
Run longer.
All right. What are you hoping to achieve this year in cross country?
Running 16 flat. Mile and a half.
All right. What do you think your team is going to make it far this year?
Of course.
A little snotty there, but okay. Does your coach give you any good advice and teachings for running? Always? All right, that's good. Thank you for your time. Have a great year. Hello, Kyle. How you doing?
Good, how about you?
Good, thanks. All right, so what made you sign up for cross country?
Just to stay in shape or something.
It's good. All right, what are you hoping to achieve this year in cross country?
To get first place, I guess.
All right, that's good. What do you think your team is going to make it far this year?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Does your coach give you any good advice and teachings for running?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Kyle. Thank you for your time. Have an amazing year. Andrew, how are you doing today?
Good.
All right. So, what made you sign up for cross country?
I saw it online and I signed up.
All right. Sounds good. What are you hoping to achieve this year in cross country? Wins. That's always good. Do you think your team is going to make it far this year?
Of course. Why not?
That's a good point. Does your coach give you any good advice and teachings for running?
A lot of stretching and more running.
All right, that sounds good. Thank you for your time, Andrew. Have a great year.
You're welcome.
Hello, Danny. How are you doing today?
Great, how about you, Nikki?
Good, thank you very much. All right, so what made you sign up for cross country?
I wanted to build my endurance up.
For what?
Running, for hockey, soccer.
Good. All right, what are you hoping to achieve this year in cross country?
To get a mile, to get unset 6 minutes in a line.
That's a good goal. Do you think your team's going to make it far this year?
Of course.
That's all right. Does your coach give you any good advice and teachings for running?
Yes, she teaches us how to stretch the correct way.
All right. That's good. All right, thank you for your time, Danny. Have an amazing year, buddy.
You too.
Hi, I'm Nick,
And I'm like,
and we wanted to tell you why we interviewed cross country. We did because they just brought back school sports.
and we wanted to see how the players think about cross country and their coach.
That's why we interviewed cross country.
See ya.